Hi, I'm Riki,
And I'm Kiwi.
and welcome to Person-Centered Learning.
If you're a homeschooler, an independent thinker, a lover of life's big questions, or simply don't fit into the mainstream education system, we would love for you to join us. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. That was our rabbit in the background.
Hey, Flop.
Flop. So, Riki, what are your fears?
My fears as a parent?
Well, the topic is, what do parents fear the most? Hey, as a parent, you might fear pooing your pants. I do. I don't care what your status is as a parent, you know, that's a legitimate fear.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, look, I think the most extreme fear I think I could ever imagine is that my child would kill someone or hurt someone in, a really...
Have we got the same children? That didn't cross my mind once.
No, not our children.
Is this on the cards?
I'm talking about extreme fears that parents could have.
Oh, right.
All parents, not...
I thought there was something that I didn't know. I'm pretty sure I know these boys pretty well.
No, I'm thinking about big, like in terms of as a parent, the worst thing that could ever possibly happen in terms of thinking what's the worst thing in terms of being the greatest, I guess, you think failure as a parent would be if your child, my child, our children was to do something really awful to another human being.
Yeah.
To me, that would be my greatest fear, that I would raise a child that would do that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm not saying that's something I think of ever, I've never actually thought, oh my God, that's what, our children will do. Not once have I, ever thought that, but
now that you mention it.
but that's something that I would, when I see what happens in the news, and I mean, not that I watch the news at all, but when I hear about school shootings and all that sort of side of, I guess, I wouldn't say the media, but of our lives, and I wonder, I always think, well, that was somebody's child. That was the person who pulled that trigger. The person who did that was somebody's baby, was somebody's toddler, was somebody's, and so I can't help but wonder who that parent is and how they're feeling when they discover that their child did that, So in terms of extreme fears and greatest fears, and that would be the worst thing I could imagine doing. I mean,
that's an amazing answer. I wasn't expecting the conversation to go there. We should have had a pre-production meeting. I was thinking, your kid bringing home a B in their math exam, killing people. Wow. No. Look,
well, there's
you're right,
nothing worse than that.
And as the parents of boys, the fear of our boys hurting a woman, I think, is huge too.
Yeah.
Especially, around consent and sexual assault and that sort of stuff. So, there are huge fears, I suppose. Yeah. Look, when I came up with this topic, I was thinking it was stuff like, oh, my kid won't be able to get into the housing market in Sydney because it's so expensive. I didn't expect this. You've thrown me completely.
Sorry. But you said biggest fear, so... And not saying that, like I said, is not an actual daily fear that I have. But bigger picture, I'm a pretty extreme sort of person in terms of thinking what is the worst possible thing.
Yeah, look, that's up there.
Yeah.
I reckon Hitler's mum was disappointed in him.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Look, I'm not even his dad, but if I were, definitely would have... probably spanked him. No, that's probably how he got there. I would spank Hitler, the adult Hitler.
Yes, I'd spank him too.
Yeah.
Let's join in a big spanking.
Yes.
Festival.
Yeah. Probably did worse than spanking. Yeah. Put him on trial in Nuremberg. But look, you bring up a huge topic, like a huge point there. Like, I wasn't expecting the conversation to go in this direction. This is amazing. And you're right. And look, as parents, like, there's just so much to fear, but... What about fearing our own poor parenting?
Yeah.
Really? Our inadequacies.
Yeah.
Look, I can tell you now, most parents have felt that they failed.
Yeah.
At one point or another, I've been like, oh, gosh, I wish I could do it all over again. I don't know how you feel about your life, but if this were a video game, like an RPG or something, I'd probably delete my character and start again. Now that I've got all of this experience.
Yeah, it's like that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
The friend of yours that was trying to conceive, excuse me, and she finally did conceive, and she said, oh, I'd really want the chance to mess up another child. So
like, as a joke.
Yeah. She, of course, no parent wants to do that.
Yeah.
But we can't help but make mistakes, and we, as much as we try not to harm our children or anyone, especially our children, it's going to happen. We have stuff that's going to come out when we're really under-resourced and really overwhelmed, and we're going to hurt our children. And what happens to that hurt? Hopefully somehow we can find a way to help them heal from it, but it's going to get stored somewhere, and we can't help but face the fact that we are daily sometimes harming our children without even knowing it, or without intending to, of course. And how do we live with that? How do we make the most of that?
Look, I've made a lot of mistakes. I'm going to share a personal one,
mm-hmm.
which is I've got a very pragmatic outlook on death. And it's something I've probably talked about too much. And I didn't know that it affected our youngest son so much, that he wasn't ready to hear about death. Sometimes I forget how young he is because he's so mature in other ways, and we have such adult conversations. I didn't realise that it really bothered him that much. Until he told me.
Yeah, and given the climate of the pandemic and all of the death and all the
and my uncle had died as well.
Yeah.
And my son had seen him in ICU with tubes coming out of him, and he was horrified by that. So that's a huge failing on my part. I'm sharing that because I guess I just want to be honest with people. Like, I'm so far from being perfect that I'm like not even close. I'm trying to be a good dad. I'm not even trying to be an excellent dad at this point. That's how much I'm doing my best to get somewhere, and just how honest I am with where I am as a parent. But yeah, that was huge, and I think I may have stuffed him up for a long time. That's the honest truth. And it could take years of therapy for him to deal with this, and I honestly didn't know it was a huge thing. I'm a refugee. I was born in a refugee camp, but my parents are refugees. My brother and sister are refugees as well. So to me, death was all around. That's just how it is. You live or you die. And we didn't die, and here we are today.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it as this binary sort of thing. Like, it's not a huge deal, but to a child who's grown up here, who was born in the Royal North Shore Hospital, he's got the most privileged life in existence. He's so loved. He's got the best mother in the world, mediocre father. But it really I've done the wrong thing. So when you bring up the biggest fear being your child doing something so heinous to other people, and I guess the core of that is
would you realise that you have, if that happens, you would have to think, well, I really did mess up. I really, really, really did a bad job.
So maybe that is a parent's biggest fear, just being crap at parenting.
Yeah, that's definitely my personal, fear, is not being, a good enough parent.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So how do we address this?
Through love again, through helping our inner children heal, and through addressing all of our, whenever I guess we get into that mode where we aren't parenting the way we do in our dreams, like you're talking about, where you sing like a rock star, when you parent like an amazing parent in your fantasies. When you're getting far from that, that's when you need to take some time to care for yourself, and usually, for me anyway, it's healing past sort of wounds, and I know that when I'm feeling a particular way, I often ask myself, how old am I feeling? How old do I feel at the time? If I'm feeling upset or angry or impatient or something with our children, I sometimes ask myself, how old do I actually feel? And so usually it's very young. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm 3. And so I know, well, I've got to care for that inner 3-year-old for myself. And then when I do that, when I come back to the situation with our children, it's like, gee, I'm glad I did that because it had nothing to do with our children. We try and tell them, all the time when I'm feeling great, I say, look, if I do get upset about things, it's never about you. It's always about me, about my inability to deal with something or something that's come up from my past, or it's never about you. And so just they know, if I'm upset, it's not your problem, it's not because of you, it's because of I'm not dealing with something well, and I'll get onto it, don't worry, I'll deal with it, I'll face it, but it's not you, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. And you'll never break up with our children, will you? Look, I think I'd love for you to share your fears with us and leave a comment down below. I'm happy to just leave it there. I've got to go and have a cold shower now after that discussion. Wow, just about our inadequacies and our fears around that. I really didn't expect the conversation to go in this direction. I thought
I don't think I did either.
I thought it was going to be about our children failing to do this or that, but really all that comes down to is us failing as parents. So I'm going to go and do some work on myself. I've got to keep walking this journey of self-awareness and self-knowledge and keep trying to improve as a human being all round. And your definition of improving is different to my definition of improving. I'm sure other people will say, well, to be a better parent, I need to buy another car. I need to wear a suit to work so I can look more impressive so my children will respect me more. I need to be sterner. I need to hit my children more.
So or enroll them into another class. Another after-school class. Another one.
I need to get them into Kumon so they get into selective school. That might be your idea of not failing your children. For me, it's just being more aware of my actions, my words, everything I do, and knowing that the things that trigger me, as Riki said, are because of me, not because of them. No one can pull a trigger that doesn't exist. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We're loaded. We're the loaded.
Yeah, exactly.
The loaded weapon sometimes,
Sure am, darling. On that note, we hope you like what you've seen. Please let us know what is your greatest fear as a parent, or even if you're not a parent, if you're a child, let us know what you're thinking. We love connecting with you. I just want to emphasize that this whole idea of doing this channel is having people's backs, creating a great community, and sharing big ideas. We're all about growth and self-improvement. Let's keep growing together.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.